She said it was just a quick business trip. 2 days at a conference in Miami. Nothing major, she told me as she packed her suitcase. But something about the way she would meet my eyes, the small pause before kissing me goodbye, it all felt rehearsed, off somehow. I tried to believe her. We'd been married for years, shared a life, had our routines, but recently things had shifted. She was glued to her phone, always holding it like it contained classified information. Her smartwatch buzzed constantly, and she would glance at it with her body turned away, shielding the screen like a teenager with secrets. The warmth that once tethered us was thinning, replaced by vague explanations and quiet withdrawal. Still, I said nothing. Not yet. I needed proof. Not hunches or suspicions, but something that couldn't be denied. She told me her flight was Thursday morning. I hugged her, smiled, said I'd miss her. On the outside, I was calm. Inside, I had already set my plan in motion. Her name is Madison, and she thought she was slick. What she forgot was that months ago, I helped her sync her smartwatch to our home network. It was supposed to make it easier to share playlists and track workouts. She never gave it another thought, but I never forgot. The night she left, I stayed up late, monitoring the data feed from her watch. At 11 p.m., her heart rate spiked. Strange for someone supposedly asleep in a hotel room. Then movement at 3 a.m. And finally, a location pin. It wasn't her hotel. It wasn't even Miami. That's when the truth landed like a hammer. This trip wasn't for business. It was personal. We had plans that weekend. We were supposed to visit her family for her father's retirement party, but she canceled, said she had to work. I told them I'd still come. Everyone was disappointed, especially her dad, who had always treated me like a son. It hurt knowing what she was really doing while he waited for her. They had a smart TV in the living room, the same brand as her watch, compatible systems. Since everything was synced through our share cloud, I still had full access. I arrived at the party, smiled, shook hands, chatted with her mom. I waited. Halfway through dinner, her dad stood to give a speech. Everyone was smiling, warm, relaxed. That's when I stood and said Madison had a surprise, a message she wanted to share with everyone. Her mom clapped, delighted. I pulled out my phone, connected to the sync cloud, and tapped mirror screen. The TV blinked to life. Her name appeared. At first, it showed fitness logs, steps, heart rate, the usual. Someone laughed, saying she was committed to staying fit. But then, notifications started appearing. Messages from a contact no one recognized. Miss you already. Last night was amazing. You forgot your hoodie, babe. Then came the photos. Selfies. Her in bed. A wine glass. A man's arm slung over her bare shoulder. More shots of them together. The man shirtless, kissing her neck. All time-stamped. All location tagged. Not Miami. Not a hotel. A private rental on a beach in Key West. The room went dead silent. Her mom gasped. Her brother stiffened. Fists clenched. Her dad just stared. I didn't say a word. I let the images speak. And then, to drive it home, I opened her messages. Wish we didn't have to hide. Maybe someday we won't. Don't worry. He suspects nothing. Just act normal when I get back. Someone whispered, "What the hell?" I stepped back, arms folded. My heart raced, but my voice was steady. She told me it was a business trip. I thought you all deserved to know the truth. Her mom stared at the screen in disbelief. Her brother's jaw tensed. Her dad walked out without a word. I think this must be someone else's device, her mom said, almost pleading. It's hers, I answered. Sync to our cloud. These are her messages, her photos, her watch. Then I played one last thing. A voice memo. Madison talking to herself. Note to self. Book the rental under a fake name next time. Can't risk the date showing on the receipt again. And delete this later. Seriously. Then another. He's getting suspicious. Think he saw one of the texts. Need to fake a work emergency or something. I paused the recording and looked around the room at the people who had accepted me into their family, who had loved her, trusted her. Now they saw the truth. I didn't want this, I said quietly. I just needed to know I wasn't crazy. And now I do. Her mom sobbed silently into a napkin. Why wouldn't she just tell us? She asked. Because liars don't just lie to cover things up, I replied. They lie to protect the image they want you to believe. Her brother asked, what are you going to do now? I've already spoken to a lawyer. I told him. The divorce papers are being filed. She'll be served this week. This time, the silence that followed didn't feel tense. It felt final, like something was closing. I said my goodbyes and left. I didn't need to stay in that house and soak in the destruction. They had seen all they needed to. That was enough. That night, she called. Then again. Then the text came. How could you do that at my parents' house? Please just talk to me. You embarrassed me in front of everyone. That was cruel. I didn't reply. I didn't block her either. I just let the silence echo back at her. I wanted her to sit with it, to feel the weight of her own deception echo in the stillness. I wanted her to hear how loud the truth becomes when the lies run out. Then at 2 a.m., the most pathetic message of all, I didn't mean for it to get this far. They never do. No one sets out to wreck a marriage. They just don't stop when the fire feels good in their hands. The days that follow were eerily calm. I avoided mutual friends, ignored the gossip, drowned myself in work, but the fallout still came. Her family stopped defending her. Her mother called me, not her, to apologize. She made terrible choices, she said. I don't know what's going on with her. I thanked her, but forgiveness wasn't something I could give on Madison's behalf. That was hers to earn and mine to move on from. At first, I thought I was alone in it, but then others began to speak. Old friends, past coworkers, even someone who knew her in college. Turns out this wasn't Madison's first betrayal. Just the first time it couldn't be swept under a rug. That's when it hit me. This wasn't just about me. This was about the kind of person Madison had always been when no one was watching. Only now, the spotlight was on and there was no hiding. I used to think the hardest part would be discovering the betrayal. Seeing those photos, reading those messages, hearing about it all while her stunned family sat in disbelief. But the thing that crushed me the most was what came after silence. No more explanations, no more pretending, just the raw, suffocating weight of the truth hanging in the air like smoke after fire. Madison didn't give up easily. She called, texted, even showed up at the house one night, sobbing at the door, pleading for a chance to talk. I stood on the other side, frozen. She insisted it was a mistake, said it wasn't real, swore she was ending it and wanted to fix things, but not us. She wanted to fix the narrative, salvage the image she'd spent so long crafting. I didn't say a word. When she finally left, I watched her from upstairs, sitting alone in her car, waiting for me to come out. I didn't. That night was the last time I saw her. But it wasn't the end. Eventually, I learned the guy was Tyler, one of her colleagues from a different location. I connected the dots when I saw his name tagged in a private photo folder. Someone who used to work with him told me he had a reputation for playful flirting. But this time, the damage wasn't playful. It was catastrophic. I didn't have to confront him. A party clip made its way online and spread like wildfire. People figured it out on their own. One of Madison's cousins posted a cryptic quote about betrayal, and within hours, it was all out in the open. Her carefully built world began to crumble. Friends distanced themselves. Family went quiet. Even her loudest offenders vanished. Then her dad emailed me. It was short, just a few sentences. He thanked me for how I'd handled everything, said he was heartbroken, but appreciated the respect I showed his family. I didn't expect that message, but it meant something. A reminder that even when trust shatters, the truth still carries weight. Meanwhile, I was picking up the pieces. I packed up her belongings, not in bitterness, but because it was time. She texted one night asking where her stuff was. I replied with the storage unit address and the code. Nothing extra, just what was fair. The real healing came not from closure, but from rediscovery. I started running again. I joined a photography group I'd always meant to try. Reconnected with friends I hadn't seen in years. Each small action helped me reclaim parts of myself that I didn't even realize I'd lost. One weekend, I drove to the coast alone. No phone, no distractions, just me and the sound of waves. I sat for hours, breathing in something I hadn't felt in a long time. Peace. Not the kind you fake to get through another day. The real kind. The kind that fills your lungs after you've been drowning. That's when I realized Madison hadn't broken me. She had exposed herself. And as devastating as that was, it gave me clarity. It gave me freedom. I began writing everything down. Not just the grief, but the insights. Over time, I saw I wasn't writing about heartbreak. I was documenting a comeback. Not for revenge. Not to prove anything to her. Just to prove to myself that I could rise. Weeks later, Madison sent one final message. I hope someday you'll forgive me. I'll never forgive myself. I didn't reply. I didn't need to, because I had learned something important. Forgiveness isn't something you hand out to make peace with someone else. It's something you give yourself when you're ready to stop needing anything from them. And I was ready. I let go of the urge for her to feel the pain I did. That's when I felt free. There was no more anger, no more resentment, just space. Space between who we had been and who I was becoming. The divorce went through without any drama. No courtroom fights, no shouting. She didn't argue over a single thing. Maybe it was guilt. Maybe she just wanted to disappear. Either way, I signed the papers and walked away feeling lighter than I had in years. What she did taught me that trust is everything. A relationship without truth is like a house made of sand. It might look beautiful, but it'll crumble at the first tremor. After the dust settled, I spent more time with people who made me feel steady. My brother and I grew close again. He had always had doubts about Madison, but kept quiet out of respect. Now we meet on weekends for burgers and football. Just a normal, peaceful life. Some friends nudged me to start dating again, but I wasn't rushing into anything. I wasn't looking to fill a void. I was learning who I was and what kind of loyalty I needed in someone new. One night, I ended up at a small rooftop event. Nothing fancy, just music and relaxed vibes. That's where I met Claire. It wasn't sparks or magic. It was a comfortable conversation. We talked about cameras, bad movies, and how even good people sometimes mess up big. I didn't tell her my story at first, but when I did weeks later, she didn't flinch. She just said, "You deserve better." That was it. No pity, just simple understanding. That's when I understood. Healing doesn't come from someone else's regret. It comes from your own growth, from proving to yourself that you made it through something awful and still came out stronger. I don't know where Madison is now. I don't wonder. Whether she feels remorse or not isn't my burden. She made her decisions. I made mine. But here's what I'll say. When you let someone expose themselves to their own words in front of the very people they said would never know, that's justice. Not because you shout it, not because you try to ruin them, but because you stop covering for them and let the truth speak. And the truth, it always gets loud enough when you stop silencing it. So if you've been lied to, betrayed, or made to doubt your own instincts, listen to me. You're not broken. You're not naive. You just gave love to someone who didn't deserve it. But that love, it's still yours. And when you give it to someone worthy, or use it to rebuild the beautiful parts of yourself, that's the beginning of something powerful.